Indiana Attorney General Gregb Zoller said recently their office would officiate criminal investigations into males who were to go to the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana, in an effort to catch sex predators. Gregb Zoller's claim is that drunk men participating in the Super Bowl celebration might be inclined to purchase time with children for sexual gratification. I absolutely hate, and hate is such a strong word, but I hate the idea of throwing children in front of men, drunk men none the least, in hopes of nabbing a would-be pedophile. There simply is no logic in that. There's just not. I mean, it's like you're throwing a baby in front of somebody. Hey, you want some of this? It's just so totally ridiculous, overzealous, and embarrassing, okay? Let's look at the facts. Statistically, there are over 800,000 people in the Indianapolis surrounding area, okay? There are only 1,500 trained police for that area, okay? We're just talking the local Indianapolis police force. Divided by 5 and then divided by 3 again for the districts. And then the shifts that they work, and you only have 300 police for an area. If you want to use those police for investigative purposes, then you cannot use those police to actually work the beat to get the actual perpetrators of crimes. Now, irregardless, okay, 1 in 300 people in Indianapolis statistically are sex offenders. Some of them are rapists, some of them are bestiality people, some of them are child molesters, some of them are people who go up to strangers and show that they're private parts. All in all, 103 people in Indianapolis statistically are sex offenders, okay? There's 10 times many people with HIV/AIDS in Indianapolis. There's 10 times many people in Indianapolis with AIDS than there are sex offenders. That's how minute of a minority that they are. And we're talking about voyeurs and rapists and child rapists and child molesters, all of them thrown together, 1 in 300. So the possibility of finding an actually true pedophile is closer to 1 in 500 in Indianapolis, Indiana. But irregardless, I guess we don't have any consideration or logical thinking for actual facts and statistics, okay? But let's look at some more statistics. Okay? People who molest children, okay, on average, meaning some people hurt a few more, some people hurt a few less, but on average, okay, the average real convicted or alleged pedophile on average victimizes 40 children, okay? So some get closer to 12, some get closer to 20, some go closer to 60, but on average it's 40. So it's not a person going out there and molesting one person or molesting 2 or 3. They go out there, they gain access to children, okay, and they victimize children, and they don't do it once, they don't do it twice, they do it on average 40 times, okay? We're talking 1 in 500 people, okay, on average who victimize 40 children for sexual purposes, okay? So it's happening, even though it's very small, 40 children is a hell of a lot of children, okay? Pedophiles are not drunk men going to celebrate a football game, okay? They're not. Pedophiles are people who so choose to gain access to children. They're social workers, they're CPS workers, they're teachers, they're daycare workers. And I'm not knocking daycare workers, I'm not knocking teachers. They're a very small, minute part of society, these pedophiles, these child molesters, these people who actually join CPS to molest kids, these people who actually join and become a teacher or become a pediatrician with the sole mentality, with the foreknowledge of molesting children, or the ones who get in there and gradually develop a sexual attraction or taboo to children. They are a very minute part of society. Okay? They're not like homosexuals or stuff like that. They're very, very, very small statistic part of society. Alright? But they're not drunk men who are filled with testosterone, who want to go watch a football game or a basketball game. Okay? They're social workers. They're daycare workers. They're policemen. They're police women. They're pediatricians. Okay? If Gregb Zoller truly wanted to catch pedophiles and not use the Super Bowl as a political circus for his own office, which, by the way, they didn't catch one pedophile with their throwing kids and babies in front of people. They didn't catch one. What they did do is some Chris Hansen-style situation where they lured people over with the prospect of having sex with a 12 or 13 or 15-year-old. But they didn't catch one person in their sex trafficking. Not one. Because people are not interested. They're not going downtown to look at a 12-year-old, to look at a 5-year-old, to look at a 6-month-old or a 16-year-old when they got college women who are drunk, who look sexy. They're not going down there for that. The average man, 90%, 99% of men not going down there. That's why they didn't get any arrests. And, quite honestly, I don't think they even care that they got arrests. The mere notion and publicity that they got that this sex trafficking was this great big thing tied into the NFL was just so politically ridiculous. I debate whether or not I feel like he should lose his place in office. Irregardless, if Gregb Zoller truly wanted to catch pedophiles, the ones who are actually hurting children, the small part of society, the small statistic that are actually hurting scores and scores of kids, probably right now as we speak, they wouldn't be sticking undercover agents around full-grown drunk men who want to watch other full-grown men slam into each other. They'd be sticking undercover agents and cameras in places where people already had access to children, okay? Like arcades, daycares, even in schools, okay? You want to catch somebody who's a fucking pedophile who wants to hurt kids, you go to an arcade. You can see lone men walking around looking at young kids all the time at arcades. And they go to arcades because they know there's going to be little kids there. The people who work as pediatricians, who work as dentists for children only, the people who work in daycares, some of them do it for the wrong reasons. Some of them knowingly know that they're going to have access to children if they choose this specific job. So that's why they choose this specific job, and that's why they molest and hurt 40, 50, 100 kids. Churches, coaches, if they really wanted to get serious about it, that's what they would be doing. They would be putting undercover cameras and undercover agents, undercover police agents, yes, in middle schools, in high schools, and that's what they would be targeting people, the people who actually, and I'm not knocking teachers. Teachers, most of the teachers are just, they're the best type of people ever, but there are some people who, like I said, over time, develop an attraction, an inappropriate one at that, disgusting one at that, towards children. And there are others, a very small part of society of them of the profession who get into the profession with the sole goal, with the sole objective of not teaching kids anything other than sexual acts. So, that's the situation. They said that they were going to do it. They didn't do it. They didn't make one arrest because full-grown drunk men with testosterone ain't interested in you throwing little kids at them for sexual reasons, you moron. That's what they would be doing if they were truly worried about these sexual predators. They'd be targeting people who already have access to children, because those are the people who have access to children who are the ones who are molesting them. And not putting children around people who Greg's office selectively chooses and wishes to be, you know, pedophiles or child molesters. You know, I realized his office had to come up with something real quick, since he had 0 arrests for this great big international drug, sex trafficking, mafia hit squad that was coming to Indianapolis. I know he had to come up with something, so him and his goofball local and state police managed to squabble out a few of those very dumb people who probably would never hurt kids in reality anyway, but who just somehow are so messed up wirely, just no connection in the head that's right, and they think it's appropriate to go and try to meet a kid for sex. So at least he did something. At least he didn't just say, we're going to get all these bad people, you know, and then end up with 0. At least he got some people, even though it was Chris Hansen style, you know. So there we go.